Russia Cast show. No,
Yes.
Russia.
Russia Liberty Podcast.
Yeah, Russia Liberty podcast. Or rather, let's say podcast. Yeah, but Russia
Okay.
Liberty.
Russia Liberty Podcast.
Mm.
Let's clear the energy. Bring in some good energy to the space with the horn and the shaker. There we go. All right. So today's inquiry is the ego. The ego, master it, or it will become your master, is the title of today's cast.
The ego.
So it just starting with the title, master it, or it will become your master. What does it mean to master your ego? Because some people let their ego rule them, and that means that their ego is their master because it rules them. It rules how they behave, it rules how they think, it rules their relationships with people. And the only way to really operate with your ego is to master it, because it's a part of the self. It's not something that needs to be gotten rid of. So how do we master our ego? What is it to master your ego?
Yeah, I think it is to master self. When you master your ego, you master your emotions, your feelings, your being. You take full control, they call it, of your life, and the reflection of that will be serving and inspiring to those in your surrounding. So the ego is that part of us that always there, we can't get rid of it. We just have to master it, monitor it, control it, however. But if it is in the space of ruling and dominating and all of those stuff, then really not living.
So that being in your ego, it's not living. What would you say it is?
Being in your ego where it is causing chaos to you and to other people around you, it's not living, or the ego determined.
Is that
the ego is supposed to serve you in a type of way and protect you and all of that.
Right, it's supposed to protect you. But the ego protects unconditionally.
Yeah.
So even when you're in the wrong, your ego is going to try and chip in and protect you.
Yes.
When you shouldn't be protecting that part of yourself.
Yeah. So we have to know the difference and take responsibility for our action, and just look into what we're about and make it serving and inspiring. I hear some fake thunders up in the sky there. Yeah, man. You see how the place there? Right now, my temper and my body going into defense mode. That's the ego protecting me from the spray.
But that's their ego.
That's their
too,
ego
right
up there. Yeah.
Okay, so yep.
So
mastering the ego, taking accountability, accepting self.
And that's a bike.
Yeah.
Those bikes are ego.
There's gonna be noise in the back, cars and stuff in the back, because the sound bounces up off the hill. But I wanted to ask, we talked about mastering the ego just now, but what is the ego?
The ego is that self, that core self, that love all of this, all the 3D settings, that emotion, that feeling, that gratification, that, you know, core self that is always there in its power. It's just we have to determine how we use it or how it uses us.
Yeah.
So if we can master self, if we can heal self, then ego will serve us very well and protect us very well. You know, I don't want to get rid of it. It's part of myself. It's
Yeah.
just that it's like the subconscious mindset, you know, always taking over on its own, doing whatever it want to do until we really realize that and monitor it and use the conscious self to, you know, harmonize with the subconscious self. Then the ego will always be like a wave back and forth doing all of that. And we have to steady it, so be calm, be still. So I speak with my ego sometimes. I say, alright, ego, yo, what's up, man? I want this one, I got this one. You're not gonna bully me this time, alright?
Yeah, because the ego is a bully.
Yeah.
It likes to be the center of attention.
Yes. So
Okay.
that's how I do it, you know.
So, a more personal question about the ego that I have for you is, was there a phase in your life where you allowed yourself to be ruled by your ego?
Yes, I will leave a face too, cause yeah, man, every little thing, my emotion just jump out, that outburst of emotion. So let's say if someone says something to me and the feelings just get in the way right away, and then I start react to it, you know. You know, I mean, instead of weighing my words.
The ego is very reactive.
Yeah.
But if we do find ourselves in our ego, and we go and we take time and we reflect and we realize what it is that's happening, how we're being, then that's how we become aware of it, so we can integrate our ego into ourselves so it won't be ruling us.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the first step, self-reflection. Like you say, is getting to know self.
Yeah. When you know self and see what self is all about, clearly I go understand what the ego is, and then the ego now will just serve us very well.
Yeah. You said something a bit ago about you don't want to get rid of your ego. You don't want to kill your ego.
No.
And there's this new age spirituality thing that somebody made up, and then people just ran with it. They call it an ego death. Have you heard of that?
No, interesting.
Yeah, it's basically a new age thing.
Yeah.
Like, way off course. It's a new age thing where they're teaching people that they need to kill the ego. They need to just get rid of the ego, like the ego death.
Yeah.
It's called ego death.
Interesting.
But like you say, you're not supposed to kill the ego.
I think my ego, if my ego die, then there's no self to work with. There's no self to know how to function.
Because where would your lessons come from?
Yeah.
If you didn't have your ego.
Yeah, so my ego, I can't kill my ego. That's my everything right there.
It's a part of you.
Yeah. Don't to protect me. Yeah, man. I'm back, folks. Yeah, man.
You left the light on in the bathroom.
That's the man. It's okay, Babylon light. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ego.
Yeah, man. So, me not kill my ego. If me kill my ego, myself terminate. And that them want to do. They want to terminate with true image. Because the ego great. It's just because it's so great, it can just do what it want to do. So we know. Because on a higher self there will be in a being then. Not when them call it consciousness, whatever. And we have to know, say, oh, alright, you see ego. We have the power to determine how it operates. Yeah. Can't kill my ego, yo. But I'm not gonna use it. I'm not gonna abuse it.
Yeah. We should let our ego inform us of things and not really influence us.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I like
so
that.
Ego is, you talked about the feelings. Ego is the feelings. It's reactive. It's, you could say it's triggered.
Yeah.
So, what does it mean when somebody is triggered, and what is that trying to tell that person? Like, if you're triggered by something, why is it that thing that triggers you, and what is it trying to tell you? Because that's the ego. It's the ego that's triggered.
Yeah. Sometimes if we just weigh our words or just listen first, just try to understand it. Let's say we feel that triggered, and then, you know, instead of react to it, we respond
instead
to
of
it.
reacting or like exploding.
We respond to it by, questioning it. What is happening? What do I need to know? How do I deal with this?
Yeah.
What do
And it's
I
all
need
about
to
the
do?
self.
Yeah, what do I need to do? Yeah. That's why I like I, no matter what. I is the greatest affirmation of oneself. Yeah, if you notice, I didn't say me, because me is like the persona, the image, but I is like the core, the essence, the breath, the God, the DNA, whatever they call it. So the ego, I have to really find out why am I feeling this way, what is happening.
Right.
I always do that, and it works.
Why what somebody did made you react so boldly, take it so personally?
Right, what inspired me to take it personally, what do I need to do? And then I weigh my words, and then I realize what I need to do immediately. Yeah. So the ego is ego. Yeah, man, the ego great, man. It's great when we make it.
The ego is ego.
Yeah. I have a virgin name, Hugo Igo.
Oh yeah, you showed me him.
Yeah, Hugo Igo. Still ego.
Another thing about the ego is that what I've noticed is that when somebody gets in their ego, they trigger another person's ego, and then people find themselves in situations where ego is battling ego.
Wow, that's a two bullet. That's like more fire upon fire.
Yeah, it's like it's a win-win fight, but it's also a lose-lose fight.
Yeah.
Because each person wants to win, but each person's gonna lose ultimately. Because it's just ego.
Yeah, and when each person lose, you have to pay the consequence, because it can cost many things. Yeah, they can find that one, end up kill one, and then the next one gone on a prison. So we have to get out of an emotion, then an outburst of emotion there,
Have you ever found yourself in a situation where your ego is battling another ego?
Yes, I.
And did you realize that that's what was happening?
Not after. After I realized. In the heat of it, we just like fire to fire. And if things like that happen now, and we're on a whiz-wise journey, like, we stop and check and say, right, we don't really need to do this. You know what? We're not going to do this. We're not going to through with it. Not going through with it. So, yeah, when we're in the heat at the moment, we not think about nothing. All when people say, all when others come around and trying to, make us to focus and center again, we're not seeing that at all. We just want to just get at what we're getting at. That's how this emotion be. It's really like so strong, where I tell you, we have to recognize it.
Yeah,
and then be stronger than it.
So, just observing environments and observing groups of people and how they behave, I noticed that a lot of people are very comfortable with their ego. And I don't know if it's because they're unaware of it or because they choose that way, but they're just very comfortable with being and operating from their ego with no balance in self.
Yeah.
What do you think it is that makes people cling so tightly to their ego? That they just don't want to see anybody else's perspective. They don't want to take accountability. They don't want to apologize. They don't want to have empathy for anyone. What is it that makes people so comfortable with clinging to their ego like that?
Yeah, man. blockages and indoctrination. A lot of blockages happening in self. So we can't even, so our eyes wide shut, we can't even see self because of the blockages. And the blockages come with a lot of indoctrination. A lot, I said pronounce.
So for like, anybody could be watching this. What is indoctrination? How does indoctrination come about?
When someone make up a story and give it to us and say everything else is a lie and this is true.
Like religion, Christianity, for example.
And other religion too.
Yeah.
And the system.
Yes.
And everything, the education, the health system.
Yeah. So the system is feeding on people's egos, feeding on their emotions, their reactions.
Yeah. So blockages within oneself, so we can know self.
So we can know self. For the ones seeking their self, or for the ones that feel called to really find themselves right now, what would you say to them? What advice would you give to them about how to go about operating their ego?
The ones that are trying to find themselves, you say. Man, just speak to your ego, man. Whenever you feel like you're gonna burst out, just say, hold on, ego, I got this one. And then you find say the whole thing flip around, the whole thing change. Just recognize the first attempt to let your ego master you. When you realize the first attempt of doing that, you say, alright, hold on, ego, make me master now, and then the whole perspective change. The way you're going about doing what you're doing change, and you'll be greater that way. And then your ego will serve you. Don't let it bully you, and for you to bully other people, and Shaya. Yeah, man, that's how it is. I want enough for Eddie. Yes, I. No, that one a good night. Something at the air. So right away my temper and my body gone in a defense mode. Yeah. Yeah, man, so yo, ego! Forward, there move, so. How where you go? Leave the people them alone, man. Me not tell us if you humble yourself. Alright. You see, because your ego, me not go in talking with you. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Ego.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, ma'am. Ego. So we touched on all the little points I wanted us to make in this episode, but there's one more thing that I was thinking of, and I was talking to my sister one day, because we talk about the ego a lot, especially when we come across certain situations with people.
Yeah.
And one thing that she said was, as a child, the ego wasn't as expanded. So as children, our egos weren't as developed. And I think that's interesting, because when does the ego start to accumulate, I guess? When does it start to create itself? When does it start to form? Is it from childhood?
That's an interesting question. Your ego form when...
Because when I was a child, I never thought about ego. That wasn't as a child, that's not a thing, you know? Like you don't think of ego and then think of a child being in their ego the way you would an adult man.
Child in their ego. Ego is just always part of us once we're alive.
Yeah.
Is when it is exposed and recognized more, and then with society teaching and all of that, enhance it.
Yeah,
So people
stuff
think
starts
that,
to build up
yeah.
on it.
I think ego always there once you are here. Once you are here as a being, and you know, it's guys always part of you.
Yeah.
Whether you're young or old, it didn't come into you after a while. It's you. Yeah. Ego. So
should children learn about their ego? Should that be a part of
yes,
what is taught to children?
Yes. It's good for them to know about their emotions, their feelings, their being, their, you know, whatever else, yeah. Hold on. Oh, shit! Yeah, man. I saw we sneeze. I knew age sneeze that. Yeah.
Ego, master it, or it will master you.
Yeah. Have a reason with your ego, man. Just say, yo, know. What make you love it? Be egoistic. That's all?
Egotistical.
Why are you so egotistic?
Egotistical.
Egotistical, you see?
Yeah. I've known some really egotistical people, and I always am really curious about those people, and I always want to try and get to what?
You see?
I always want to try and get to know why they operate in their ego the way that they do, and usually it's from some wound or some insecurity or some trauma.
Some trauma from
and
you.
Then they're taking it onto themselves and they're projecting it out onto other people.
Yeah.
And because the ego is for protection, the self has the ego for protection, but a lot of times it can slip out of that and become projection.
Yes. One big noise I come, a part of our editor guy, you hear that? That's ego right there.
Yeah. Obnoxiousness.
Obnoxiousness.
Is ego.
Yeah, it's ego.
Yeah.
Want to be seen and heard.
Yes, the ego wants to be seen. I put that in my notes.
Yeah.
The ego likes to be seen. And does that come from a place of feeling unseen and unheard?
Yeah. Well,
what is that?
I tell you that, like, wow, it's like a show. It's very bossy and cocky and conceited type of behavior. You know what I mean? But once we can recognize self and train self, love self, heal self, then we have ego where we want it to be. Yeah?
Because when we love ourselves, we can love others.
Yeah.
And we can see others as ourselves and have empathy for other people and have empathy for ourselves. I think empathy is how to really heal the ego as well.
Yeah, because you start really realizing the best way to approach things and how to deal with people.
Yeah.
So
and you're more is considerate but more pro-siderate or I-siderate of others. So you put your ego aside, you have empathy, you are empathetic.
Yes.
And in that, you keep your ego in check.
The question ain't done. We just ready to talk about ego and the question done
What?
already.
You got some questions?
How do you
Go ahead.
How do you love to use your ego?
How do I love to use my ego?
Yeah. How do you really love to use your ego?
Hmm.
Knowing about it.
I love to use my ego as a reminder of what I should do and who I should be and how I should interact with people. That's how I use my ego. I use it as a teacher, basically.
Yeah.
So when things happen, or if I find myself in my ego, too much in my ego, I reflect on it and I take it and I use it to also create art, like poetry. I channel it into something creative.
Yeah.
So the ego is, I just use it as a lesson, a teacher for what I need to learn about myself.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Has your ego ever failed you?
How do you mean?
Like, you use it and then have regrets?
Has it ever failed me? I use it and I have regrets. Nah, I don't think.
Or maybe I should rephrase.
Even if I use my ego, I wouldn't regret anything. The only thing to do is to.
Yeah, let's splice this one again.
Okay.
I'm being protected.
Yeah.
If you can see, you see? I'm all negative, so all of these things happen to me very quickly. Yeah, man, so forward. I'm over forward at night.
Yeah.
Telling you. Really, I do some stuff to you right there, you know? To people, you know? Frequent for them time come, man. Some dirty ego make them people in the sky a spirits there.
Ego so big, they think they can block the sun.
And my
ego bigger than the sun.
Yeah. And my temple going at this defense mode, you know, create a congestion for block whatever I would try to penetrate. Looking at the sky, man. No, man, I tell you.
Alright, ego. Be the master of your ego. Be the ruler of your ego.
Yeah. Be the ego.
You are the ego.
Don't let the ego be you.